How's it going, everyone? So, I've been talking about the possibility of leaving quite a few times recently. People probably realise that. So, I thought it'd be a good idea and a good time to talk about that a little bit and explain why that is, why I've been thinking it. Not going to be a long one, just gonna go through it a little bit. So, I think it's no secret. I think people who've been following me for a long time know that everything that I do here is for my family, right? I have a wife and a daughter, and they're kind of the entire reason why I do this. The reason that I try to make money is because I try to secure their futures, to give them as much security as possible. Because in the event that something happens to me, I want to know that they're secure and they're fine forever. So the reason why I try to make as much money during this is for that reason. And something that I've realized over time is that, because I didn't grow up with a lot of money at all. We grew up a bit poor, and I don't want to say we was out on the streets, but we didn't have a lot of money, and there was a lot of struggle. And even in my young teens and adult life, up until I want to say around my 30s, I was struggling. Just from a personal, individual level, I was struggling. Didn't have money. We was always in overdrafts, and for times were always difficult. I always felt like there was a boot on my chest that was, felt like it was just all this bit of pressure that was always there. And especially, raising a child during all of that, that's, I had my daughter when I was 21, and, raising a daughter when you're trying to look after three people, essentially, it's difficult. So, one of them being yourself. So I've always felt like, we've been struggling, but I've now that I'm in a situation where I could say, success has brought me money. So I've done quite well, but I've realised that I just don't want a lot. I'm very content with what I have, and I'm not the sort of person who's flashy and blingy. I don't wear any jewelry at all. The only jewelry I wear is my wedding ring. I don't like flashy watches. I don't like watches at all. If I'm on a computer and I've got a watch on it, it annoys the fuck out of me. So I just don't wear any bracelets, watches, necklaces. Never had my ears pierced. So bling is never a thing. Cars, I'm never going to be someone who buys a supercar. I'm just not bothered about it. I just want a car that drives nicely, feels nice to drive, and has a big boot, so I could chuck a bunch of shit in it. So cars are just, I'm never going to be a person to go buy big cars, supercars and that. And then clothes, I just like clothes that look nice, that are comfortable. Comfort is a big thing for me. If there's a t-shirt that is comfortable to wear and it looks nice, I don't care how much it costs. Do you know what I mean? I'm never going to be someone who goes and pays 200 quid on a Hugo Boss white t-shirt that you wouldn't even know is Hugo Boss just because it is Hugo Boss. I'd rather go buy a 20 quid one from H&M or something. So clothes, I like to look good, but I don't have to spend a fortune on that. I just go to the same places I've always been to. So I've realised as I've made money that I don't need a lot in my life, So a lot of it really just comes down to security. And I'm at a point where I can say, I've made my family's life a lot better, a lot more secure. I paid my mortgage off. I bought some property, so we always have income and we always have a place to live. That's security right there. And on the surface, you'd probably look at my life and think not a lot has changed, because I'm not flashing it and stuff like that. A lot of it has just gone into safe investments and for the future of my family. So that's basically where I'm at, and I feel like for the next, I owe it to my family to see out this bull run, because even though we're in a good position now, it would be silly to kind of kill the golden goose, right? So this next bull cycle, I've owed it to my family that I'm going to be around to do that no matter what. And I'll always invest in some form, but I think beyond this bull run, I'll probably pivot to more safer investments, rather than, the wild west of crypto where it's extremely volatile and crazy and all of that jazz. So um, I'm always going to invest, and I'm always going to be someone who is looking to improve my family's future. But whether I stick around here to do it, and to do it on Twitter and to do it online, is a different story. I don't see that lasting much longer. Um, I don't think it's been a secret that I have not wanted to continue this for a while. I've not been wanting to do this for a while now. Um, and it's something that I I have a hard time continuing because the follower numbers doesn't really mean shit to me. I don't care about the follower numbers at all. Um, we all know, like, there's not actually over 100,000 people who are reading my stuff and engaging and stuff like that. It's a lot less, right? So, the follower numbers is kind of bullshit. And I think when it went over 50,000, I was excited. And that was a goal for me. Before I got there, I was like, I want to get to 50,000 because it's a huge achievement and a goal. And then I got there and I didn't feel anything. It just made me feel like, why did I put all that effort in? That was kind of pointless. And then when we got past 50,000, it was just like, well, I kind of don't care about this number shit too much anymore. So I just kind of started being a bit more honest about things, because I felt like that was what people could get value out of if I was completely honest and not playing the whole influencer game of trying to grow and engage and all that shit. It was more just, well, I'm going to be completely honest about everything now, and share my thoughts in a real way, and people will probably get more value out of that. And I think that's what I've done, and I enjoy that more. But I think all good things need to come to an end. I'm always worried about, especially with crypto, staying in the casino too long. Um, and I feel like with social media side of things, it's just, when I look at the benefits and I look at the downsides, that I struggle to find the upsides to outweigh them, to be honest. Um, I think I have a bit of fatigue with the social media side, and I feel like I have some scars because as much as it's nice to hear people saying stuff like, I found this project because of you, I did this, I went into this because you spoke about it, or, I decided to research this because you mentioned it, and now it's worth this much and it's better, I'm doing well. And that those stories are always amazing to hear. I love them. Recently we had one from Mog Machine from BitTensor, who's probably outside of the foundation and a few others like Caro is the top dogs at BitTensor. Obviously, it's a big open, decentralized project, so anyone can contribute. So he's positioned himself very well in that regard. But he mentioned the other day that he found BitTensor because of me, which was strange because I always thought he was in before me. So to hear that he found it because of me was a nice thing to hear. And it's something a bit more tangible that I can point to with BitTensor and say I had an impact on BitTensor outside of just writing about things, because I've actually seen what he can build, what he has built, and it's to think I had a tiny small part in that. It's something a bit more tangible, So that's nice to hear, and he seems like a great guy. I don't know him personally. Had a few interactions with him, but obviously spoke with him in group environments, and he seems like a nice guy, family guy like me, but most of all, I respect his work, and I'm sure I'll interact with him a bit more after hearing that. So, but as nice as it is to hear those sorts of things, over the last couple of years, I've had I've seen the other side of the coin, and to put up with a lot of horrible stuff within the social media side of things. A lot of the grief that you get, a lot of the people who blame you for them losing money on a project that you spoke about, or and then you go further to that side and you start going down the road of receiving death threats. I've had people who have said some really awful things, and death threats that at the time felt quite serious. You know what I mean? Like people who were very persistent and saying some really horrible shit. I've had people who have found my phone number. I've had people who have tried to hack my accounts. I've had people who have tried to find out where I live, like stalking. I've had people who have said some really nasty stuff about my family, threats. Think of, as a parent, think of the worst thing you can hear about your kids is about your daughter, especially, a daughter, about what someone can say about them. I've had shit like that a few times. And over the years, those things, sometimes most of the time you have to try and ignore that shit and just put it down to these people are just emotional or whatever. But sometimes that stuff really sticks in you. And, I feel like because I've had to deal with a lot of that shit, and it has been a lot, to be honest, because this is an emotional place we're in with crypto, and it's money and it's finance and it's investments. So emotions are high, But because I've had to put up with a lot of that shit, it's left a few scars, and it's made me resent a lot of this, Even though it's nice to hear the good things, the bad stuff, it sticks way more, and it's made me resent doing a lot of this stuff, because you can't unthink those things, And sometimes you feel like it's a real threat, which is, and then you start thinking of it in reality terms, So that's stuff that I don't, I've been resentful towards of this for a while now, and I also have this kind of I think I do suffer from imposter syndrome, so I have this kind of way of thinking where I don't see what I do as that important, and as much as people will say, I have helped them, or I've done this, and you've helped me, and I found this project because of you. Like I said, I still have a hard time quantifying that and kind of believing that. Do you know what I mean? Even though I don't know why you shouldn't, I just can't quantify that is something that's true. I just have a hard time believing that what I'm doing here is anything more than just putting some thoughts out on social media and that's it. So I do think I suffer from a bit of imposter syndrome. When I get invited to these groups with the higher ups of projects or the teams and like CEOs and shit like that. Like I always just think, why am I in these fucking groups? Like there's no way or no reason why I should be in these groups. Like I don't deserve to be in these fucking positions, to be talking to the teams. Like it's dumb. It's fucking dumb. Like I'm just a guy who is an investor who talks about shit online, and then I'm giving advice to teams and they're fucking actually listening to it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And I feel like I put up that fucking picture of that Big Bird meme, whereas Big Bird's sitting in an office with all these suits. That's how I feel, because I just feel like, why am I even in these fucking groups? Like, this is pathetic. So like, I don't really see what other people see. I don't believe that what I do has much value. So when I think about like what is the point in sticking around, one, if you don't enjoy it as much anymore, why still do it? Two, when you've been kind of scarred from listening to a bunch of shit and having a bunch of shit thrown at you that is super negative and horrible, why put up with that anymore? And three, if you think you want to do something different, because I don't, not to turn this into a fucking therapy session, like fucking hell, but like, I just don't see it as an importance, to be honest with you. I don't really see myself as anything special either. I'm a very, I understand the sort of person I am, and I'm just very fucking ordinary and average. Like, to be honest, like I'm an okay looking guy. I'm in okay shape. I haven't. I'm not the smartest person. I'm not that technical. You know, I'm just very, I'm kind of funny. You know, I'm just very average across the board. It's all very average. And I don't see, I just don't see what others see. So like when it comes to continuing this, I just feel like I don't feel like I want to do it much longer. I think that's what it ultimately comes down to. I think it's just the journey will still continue for me and my family, but putting it all out online is something that I don't think I'm going to continue much longer. And I don't know when it is. Like I don't know when that's going to happen. Like it could be, you know, I'm a very impulsive person. So you know, I have kind of I have kind of like self-destructive tendencies, I think. You know, people, I feel like in life, I do have those, I wrestle with that shit a lot. Not to say, you know, like fucking suicidal shit, but just in, on small scales, these like self-destructive tendencies, I think I have. And that impacts a lot of things, a lot of things that I do. And I kind of wrestle with that a lot. So with this, it feels like I just know one day I'm going to wake up and be like, I don't want to do it anymore, and I'll stop, and I'll just stop. I don't think it'll be a big deal. I don't think it'll be a big announcement. I don't think it'll be anything like that. I just think it'll be, I don't want to do it anymore, so I'm not going to do it anymore, and I'll delete everything, not the accounts, but I'll delete all the apps off my phone and computer, and I'll just be like, right, cool. I'll keep what I need to keep investing and researching, but all the social media side will just stop. And I think that's what will happen. So I don't know when that is, but I do think it will be somewhat soon. It will definitely be this year. I just don't know when. So I think it's hard to it's hard for other people to accept, because I think from the outside looking in, it's like, oh, he's got a big account and he's done really well for himself, and he seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders and all of that stuff. But I just don't kind of see it that way. Like, yes, we've done well for ourselves. I feel like I have a good head on my shoulders, and I understand a lot of how the game is. But you know, I also understand that I want to do something different with my life. Like, I don't want this part of my life to define me. I'm like, you know, mid-30s, and I want, I need to figure out what is beyond all of this, and I can't do that while I'm still doing this you know, the whole social media side of things, or just doing really in depth, you know, researching every single day and trying to navigate this fucking wild west casino that is crypto. I need to figure out what the next thing is, and I can't do that while I'm doing this. So, and I just, you know, the social media side of things, I don't see it as an importance. I hate the status game. I fucking hate it. I hate the whole, you know, your life exists online and you have to try and impress people. You know, that is just, it doesn't have any importance to me. You know, I'm more than happy to slink away to having a very small circle with my family and friends and people who I care about and people who care about me. I don't need the recognition from people who I don't care about, or they don't really care about me. Look, I'm happy that others have improved their situation by content that I've put out. That that is more than enough that I can take with me from all of this and say I did some good. Do you know what I mean? But but yeah, I'm happy that happened. Um, but yeah, so it will be at some point this year. I don't know when, but I felt like I should probably just explain in my usual ramble fashion why that is. And who knows? Maybe it changes, but I don't think it will. Just honestly, I don't think it will. I think it's already at the tail end, and it's something that um, you know, it is what it is. All good things come to an end. So if it happens, and if I don't announce it, then just know that at the time I was here, as a net, it's a net positive, and I had some really amazing times. But yeah, see what happens. Anyway, that's that. So take care, and see you in the next one.